can you unpack that a little bit? What do you
Sure.
mean by conservative impulse, and how does it show up in the scholarship?
I think there are lots of scholars who, I mean, as we know, the scholarship on the New Testament is primarily done by Christian scholars, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing to be ashamed about. Christians are interested in their sacred texts,
Of
and
course.
so some Christians grow up to be scholars of the New Testament. Just the same as when you look at scholars of Islam, they are invariably Muslims. I mean, the vast majority of scholars of the Quran are Muslims. Same thing with the New Testament. The vast majority of scholars are Christians, or at least Christian adjacent. That means that there is fundamentally a kind of, I don't think it's necessarily an apologetic impulse, although that's in the field as well with some of the more conservative scholars. But there's certainly that sense of, we want this to be true, but not just that we want it to be true, we want to prove it's true. How do we prove it's true? Well, if we can demonstrate that the Gospels are earlier than than you might have thought, then it helps with the truth claims. Now, both Robinson and Bernier and others that date the Gospels early, they'll actually point to the same data that I'm pointing to, but they'll spin it differently. I just cannot persuade myself that a book like Mark's Gospel that is so temple focused is not written after the destruction of the temple. I mean, we've got a comparison. I think that Paul's letters are all written before, I mean, the authentic ones, they're all written before Mark's gospel. How often does Paul talk about the temple? Almost never. Almost never.